Look at this tiny piece of land. Kharg Island is roughly 1/3 the size of Manhattan, but its footprint hides an outsized geopolitical reality. This map shows why that tiny rock matters so much. Those arrows represent roughly 90% of all Iranian crude oil exports. Nearly all of Tehran's energy wealth flows out to sea through this single, highly concentrated geographic bottleneck. That bottleneck is now in the crosshairs. The fragile ceasefire forged in April has completely collapsed, plunging the region back into active combat. President Trump is now escalating the rhetoric beyond airstrikes, publicly threatening a full military seizure of Kharg Island. The stated goal is to assume total control of Iran's oil and gas markets. The administration explicitly compares this planned takeover to U.S. control of Venezuela's oil markets, aiming to cripple Tehran's economic engine from the inside out. So, with Tomahawk missiles already in the air and Iran firing back, we have to ask, is the United States actually preparing for a massive ground invasion, or is this a calculated, high-stakes geopolitical bluff? Militarily, the initial capture of the island is feasible. The U.S. has a Marine Expeditionary Unit in the region, about 2,000 highly trained troops. Securing the beaches is well within their capabilities. This tactical map reveals the geographic trap. Kharg Island sits a mere 20 miles off the mainland. Because of this proximity, U.S. forces would face asymmetric warfare, where a weaker force avoids direct combat, using constant, localized strikes to exhaust a better-equipped enemy. For the troops stationed there, that means facing an unyielding barrage of incoming threats. They would be sitting ducks for cheap, explosive Shahed drones and coastal missile batteries firing endlessly from the mainland. Taking the island is entirely possible. Holding it, however, would rapidly devolve into an open-ended, high-casualty siege. The U.S. troops wouldn't be conquerors. They would essentially be hostages. Iran knows exactly how to respond to an occupation. Tehran has stated clearly that if their oil hub is seized, they will immediately obliterate the oil infrastructure of U.S. allies in the Gulf. Their primary targets are massive energy facilities sitting just across the water in Saudi Arabia and Qatar. And here is the map of the broader region. Notice the Strait of Hormuz. Because of the ongoing hostilities, this critical global trade choke point is already closed to standard commercial traffic. The math here is brutal, instantly erasing Iranian oil from the global market and simultaneously destroying the oil supplies from Saudi Arabia and Qatar would send global energy prices into the stratosphere overnight. Even Trump recently acknowledged on Fox News that he doesn't know if America actually has the stomach for the operation. An invasion guarantees military losses, while simultaneously risking total global economic suicide. If taking Kharg Island traps your troops in a nightmare and blows up the global economy, why make the threat so loudly in the first place? Secretary of War Pete Hegseth characterizes the administration's approach as negotiating with bombs, a strategy of using extreme military posturing to force rapid diplomatic concessions. The White House is on a strict, urgent deadline. That closed Strait of Hormuz is causing a severe spike in domestic gas prices and inflation. With elections approaching, the lingering economic strain is a massive political liability. Simultaneously, the administration is managing a deepening domestic crisis. Reports of a newly surfaced scandal have reportedly caused panic within the White House, making a high-profile international conflict a convenient media distraction. Externally, the administration is facing intense pressure from Israeli leadership, who are reportedly pulling strings to ensure the U.S. maintains unrelenting, maximum pressure on Tehran. Add it all up, and the threat to occupy Kharg Island starts to look less like a genuine tactical battle plan and much more like a desperate negotiation tactic, a massive bluff designed to terrify Iran into surrendering before actual boots hit the ground. In political science, this approach is known as the madman theory. The goal is to push the envelope of military aggression so far that you appear unhinged enough to actually do the unthinkable, forcing your enemy to capitulate out of fear. But brinksmanship has a fatal flaw. It relies entirely on the assumption that the other side will blink first. Instead of surrendering to avoid an invasion, Iran is hardening its stance. They framed the conflict internally as a resistance to foreign domination, making compromise politically impossible, and right now they are actively firing back. Evidence of that escalating retaliation is already showing up. Iran claims its drone and missile strikes are actively hitting U.S. allied territories,
targeting high-value military infrastructure like the hangars housing F-35 fighter jets. By choosing to negotiate with bombs, the administration has systematically narrowed the space for actual diplomacy. Now they are trapped between two disastrous options: back down and look weak on the world stage, or follow through with a catastrophic invasion that plunges the global economy into chaos.